Love him or hate him, John Cena is one of the biggest names in WWE history. However, just because you may be the GOAT doesn't mean you haven't had some bad matches. And in this video, I'm going to break down his top 5 worst matches. Let's get into it. Now, look, while John Cena is widely regarded as one of the most successful and popular WWE stars of all time, like any other wrestler, he's had some matches that just weren't well received by fans or critics. Some could say they suck. It's worth noting that even though the less likable matches that John Cena has had, his dedication to the company and his ability to connect with the fan base, it's still recognized to this day. And opinions of wrestling matches are subjective. So if you don't agree with my list, that's fine. You may have something different. It's also important to note that opinions on this can change. But here are my top 5 John Cena matches that have some fans and just critics just not liking them. At number 5, it's his match with the Big Show for the U.S. Championship at WrestleMania 20. John Cena's match against the Big Show at WrestleMania 20 was part of an open challenge. It opened the show, and it wasn't necessarily a terrible match. It just simply didn't stand out as one of John Cena's best WrestleMania matches overall. Now, keep in mind, this was technically his WrestleMania main card debut, if you will. And working with the Big Show, especially at this time period, was never fun, but he managed to get through it. John Cena versus R-Truth for the WWE title at Capital Punishment 2011 comes in at number 4. This match was, well, not as strong as some would like, right? It was seen as a weaker match in Cena's title reign as WWE champion over the years. R-Truth was not a top-level guy at the time, nor has he really ever. And the match didn't really receive high praise. This match was a B-level pay-per-view where they needed a hot body, a warm body for John Cena to beat. And they elevated a guy that had mostly been used as a mid-carder and really has since stayed in that position. And they tried to build him up and turn him heel, and it just didn't work. At number 3, we have John Cena versus The Miz, where The Miz retained the WWE title in the WrestleMania 27 main event thanks to outside interference by The Rock. While WrestleMania is WWE's biggest event of the year, the WWE Championship match between Cena and Miz was not well received by many fans, including myself, because they just felt it was a lackluster main event. And I agree. WrestleMania 27 was really promoted and sold off of the fact that The Rock was going to be back as the host, and what would he do when he encountered John Cena? And he cost Cena the match. Most notably, Miz actually suffered a concussion in this match. I believe it was a clothesline over the barricade to the concrete, knocked himself out. Doesn't remember it. Yeah. Anytime you have a Miz main event, you know it's not going to be great. But this next match, it was rough. At number 2, we have Over the Limit 2012. You remember this? John Cena battled John Laurinaitis. This match was a no DQ match with Laurinaitis, who was not a regular in-ring competitor. Obviously, he was a GM of Raw at the time. This match was seen as underwhelming and more of a storyline-driven bout than a pro wrestling in-ring skilled bout, if you will. John Cena did everything in his power to pull out the best that he could out of a John Laurinaitis who had not wrestled in decades at this point and was much, much older from the last time he had stepped inside the squared circle and competed, especially in a pay-per-view main event. This was a horrendous time in WWE programming with Laurinaitis and his raspy voice. Anyways. But could it top this? At number 1, John Cena's Saturday night's main event. Remember those specials? In 2007, when he took on the Great Khali. This match is often criticized for its lack of in-ring action and limited wrestling ability from the Great Khali. WWE Hall of Famer, I might add. Which made for a slow and somewhat uneventful contest. And oof, was it ever. The Great Khali has never been regarded as like a great in-ring worker, but like this match, this was rough. And this was at a time period where WWE was constantly trying to build up Great Khali as like a monster heel. And he was a monster, all right, but like it just didn't work. So yeah, those are my top 5 worst John Cena matches. Let me know down in the comments area below.